What's up, social media? Listen, welcome, 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 welcome. If you're on, I just need you to heart it up, heart it up. We really can't see your hearts. So I dare you to say hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've joined in all the platforms. Thank y'all so much. For those of you that have been rocking out with us every Monday, I know it's not Monday. Yes, it is Thursday because we had to make some changes. We have children that are in some things, doing some things in school right now. So we want to welcome you on Thursday instead, where we've been celebrating women in business. Can you put the hearts on the screen? Let me see you heart it up, hearts on the screen, letting us know that you're there. That's your way of communicating with us. Hello, Bishop. Communicating with us to let us know that you're there. But most of all, we are talking about women in business. Check this out. This is the month of October where we celebrate women in business. And with us celebrating women in business, we have decided to come. God, whatever the Lord did, we just all came together. And these ladies came together to celebrate women in business. If you have not, go back and watch all the other ladies that have talked about business on my YouTube page, on my regular page, Tanya Hart Ministries. You can check it out and find out about their business, what they do in business. Allow them to inspire you, encourage you, and empower you if you're thinking about starting or if you are in business to start. Listen, also go to my YouTube page to find out how to start a business, how to create content, how to build, how to stay committed. But most of all, you don't want to miss 6:45 a.m. Monday morning live where Bishop and I is going to be talking. We're going to be talking about 10 ways to start a business in a DBA or profit, and you're able to gain it. So we'll talk about that more. Listen, at the end of this, you want to stay live with us because I have a free giveaway that we're going to be doing, but neither here nor there. We want to talk, 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 and chop it up tonight. I have some amazing ladies with me, and I'm going to bring them on and let them tell you a little bit about themselves. I'm going to start with Miss Kim. Hello,
Hi.
Kim. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
So
Who
I'm
are
Kim
you and all
Pruitt.
that great stuff?
Oh, okay. So I'm Kim Pruitt,
Okay.
a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I have been in private practice for this year. This past August made 5 years. So a total of 2 years full time private practice, 3 years part time. And yeah, that's who I am. I am a therapist, and I am in private practice, own my own business.
Can y'all heart it up? Okay, y'all gotta show your hearts, or show your flames, show your fire, your butterflies or something. That's to show this lady some support. Listen, these ladies are doing things that have never been done, maybe has been done, but probably never been done in their family. I don't know, but we'll find out here later in a minute. But listen, I have another lady. I have two ladies. I always bring two people with me to rock out with me and tell you about this. So I'm gonna join my other lady that I know. I'm always calling her, always asking questions
Hi.
in her lane. Tell them who
No
you are,
problem.
what you do, all that stuff.
Hi, I'm Courtney Reed. I do a couple things actually. I have a trucking company. I actually teach people how to get into the trucking industry, and also I have a decor business.
I look, I forgot about the decor business as well.
Yes,
See,
that's my
so
passion.
yeah, I love it. So many hats. So we're gonna start this off. I wanted to know what made you guys, and I'll start with either one of you. Either one of you can answer. What made you say, you know what, I want to start? I don't know what it is, but I know that I want to start something, and I want it to be something that I started that God gave me, or however. What made you start your business?
I'll go first.
Hmm.
Okay, so I I used to work for immigration and I quit my job because I wanted to be a housewife. And
Okay.
so I volunteered at the school and everything else. And out of the blue, the decor business started, and it like popped off from there. And so one night, my husband and I were pillow talking because he was working for a guy, and the guy was basically not doing him right. So I was like, you know what? I can learn how to do that. And so I learned how to do it and for my husband. And then somebody told somebody that told somebody. And the next thing you knew, I had 11 trucks. So
Woo!
I'm not down to 11 now. It was, whew, it was stressful, but it was all God. Like the knowledge that he gave me. I tried to work for somebody before I did it with my husband, and the guy, he wouldn't teach me because it's like, you're gonna take my trucks. And I never even thought about taking his trucks, but God know where to put us because I learned just enough of what I needed to know from him to, to go forward. And here I am 6 years later, still in it.
So
Come
for
on,
me,
can y'all give up heart? Can y'all heart it up for Miss Courtney? 11 trucks, even though it's not now. I don't care. You still had 11. It don't matter. And six
Yes.
years later, that's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Kim, tell us what made you want to start? What happened?
so oh man, my story. I've always, when I decided I was gonna be a therapist, I had a plan laid out to, like, 5 years into me going into therapy, that I was going to start my business, but God said something else. So when my husband got a job teaching and we had to move, um and once we had to move, I was looking for a job in therapy, and I could not find a job. Nobody wanted to hire me. I had only 1 year of experience in therapy. And so nobody, like, mental health wasn't as big as it is now. Nobody was really talking about mental health. And
Hmm.
so I couldn't find a job. And God was like, now is the time. Like, start your business. And so
Come
I
on.
did. So that's what made me start the business, because I couldn't find a job.
Come on. And one thing I hear both of y'all saying is that God told me, or God said. So you mean to
Yes.
tell me the foundation? Oh, girl, I felt the glory. Let me stop. The foundation of your businesses were on God. It was the foundation totally. Why is that?
Absolutely.
Why is that? Courtney, ask, I want to know why is that why is God the foundation of your business?
So I was in food service for 15 years. So I never thought about trucking, dreamed about trucking or anything. So about 20 years ago, God promised my husband. I didn't know him then, but he made a promise to my husband about this business. And so I know that it was him because how everything came about had to be him, nobody but him. And
Oh,
like in this industry right now, it's a little rough right now in the industry. Everybody has jumped in and saturated, and now, we're trying to even it out. But he has sustained us,
mm-hmm.
and even with the connections that he's connected us to, the people that we need to be connected to. There's people been in business 20 years that's going out of business, but here we are still maintaining because of what he promised my husband 20 years ago. So I know that it's him.
Come on. What about you, Kim?
So with starting out, when I couldn't find a job, I was already in prayer. Like, Lord, I need a job, to go in. I had to get my hours. And so when God directed me, it was just out of a need. Like, I had a need in there, because, and I know God, he provides all I need. So I was prayerful. I needed direction at that moment. Where do I go next? And so that's how I started out. I was a year full time, and then he shifted me into part-time for 3 years, and then I came back in my fifth year stronger than ever. And man, it's just been really good. Just God, I needed God to guide me along that path.
Both of you guys, I wanted to make sure every time that I brought two ladies on here, I wanted them to do something totally opposite. And y'all are totally opposite of what you guys do. But one thing that you both have in common is that, like I said, it was the foundation of where you are. But the main thing that you guys have in common is that you took it to God in prayer. But my other question to you guys is that even though, you're taking it to prayer, You're giving it to God. What do you love about what is your like what do you love about what you do for yourself, your business? This is you and your husband, you and your husband. This is your business. What are your pros about this business?
So I'll say for me, the pros about my business is one, like the first thing is I feel like this was the calling. So I didn't mention earlier, but I am a retired Air Force as well. And so this is my second career, and Air Force is what was the thing that got me to the thing. Like this, I feel like the fact that it is my calling, and I feel like I'm walking in purpose. That's the thing that I so love, like about this business, getting opportunities to see people heal in their mental health, in their marriages, like that right there. Oh man, yeah, I love it.
It make you look young. What about you? What about you, Courtney?
Um, like I said, my decor is my passion, so I could like literally do that for free. But with the trucking, trucking makes the world go round. So I will always have a job,
Hmm.
forever have a job. And being your own boss, like I get to still go to my kids' schools. If they have games, I can leave early. I decide my hours. If there is um something, a field day or something, I can always stop and go. I'll tell my drivers, hey, I gotta step out for an hour. I'll be back. Um, One day I just did not feel like getting up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start at 9 o'clock versus 7 o'clock. Give myself a couple of hours. So, like as your own boss, you get to make your own schedule, your own hours. If I need more money, I'll take on more trucks. But if I need to like de-stress, I'm overwhelmed, I can pass, because I teach the classes, I can pass a couple of my trucks over to the people that I've trained already. But the perk is being your own boss. I get to say when, where, how, what, all of that stuff.
Listen, I don't know if nobody caught that, but I'm gonna need y'all listen. All of you that are watching, I hope you caught that. That this lady just said, and I teach what I do. Come here, Glory. In other
That
words, I
was
don't have
God.
just one line of income, but I have multiple ways to be able to bring income into my house. Listen, if you watching, I'm gonna need you to like and share and tell somebody about this. This person out here that may say, "Man, I'm thinking about a business, or I'm thinking about moving in business, or I'm thinking about moving in purpose, and how my purpose can what's the word I'm looking for? How my purpose can launch my dream." And I want to talk about that. Your purpose, because here's the thing, and people don't want to talk about it in the church, outside church. I don't know what they don't want church for. I don't know what it is. But when it comes down to your dream and money that's in your dream, that the things that you get, listen, the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil. Did I say that right? The love of money. It's not that it's the person, the love of money. It's about, do you, and people want to know that, do you make money in your business? That's my question.
Yes, yes, most definitely. So here's the thing though. I
Okay.
didn't, when I started out my first year, I told you I was looking for a job. Mental health wasn't just as big as it is now. In my first year, I was not making uh making the money that I thought I would make.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to build my practice up to get to where I'm at now. So I went part time, and even going part time, that was directed by God. And God told me 3 years. I went to work at a school, and God told me you'll be there 3 years, and then after your third year, it's time, move on. And so I did. He said, move on, not just move on back into your private practice
Mm-hmm.
full time. And so this is, which I am now, my fifth year. In the first year that I actually made a profit, and not just any profit, man, I had to close out my schedule. My caseload was so full, and God said, now upgrade. And so I'm in the process of working on upgrading to a group practice, going from just a solo practice, just me, to bringing other therapists on. And so that's in the works for next year.
Don't make me get up and see. I know your story. Don't make
Get
me
up. Get up.
everybody. I need you just put the one on which number one, number one. Let's celebrate this woman of God. I want you to celebrate both of these women. They are doing some amazing thing. And I'm not just saying that because I remember when you worked at the school for 3 years. Praise the Lord, and I believe the Lord had you there for me.
Yeah.
The Lord opened some doors for me on that behalf, and that's gonna be anyway. But just to know that number one, you got Courtney that is moving in several things, and then you have Kim now move. It's not. Oh, come here. Let's talk about this. Okay. Oh, I felt it. Listen. Let's talk about how important it is when it comes to business to be open minded, and because there's no lid to what your business can do when the foundation is God. Come on, Courtney, talk to me.
Okay, so in the trucking, you can expand as far as you want to go. Like I told you, at one point I had 11 trucks, and I'm just going to be transparent. I have control issues. I don't trust people. Like, you are guilty until proven innocent with me. So, and I have OCD, so it makes it that much harder. I need it done the way I want it done and everything else. So it's hard for me to hire someone that's going to do it exactly like me, to know that they're going to do it. But my one of my good friends say you can't build an empire by yourself. So I'm working on relinquishing some of that to actually expand and bring on more. But like whenever I had the 11 trucks, um I want to say that first year we probably grossed about $750,000 that
Pause.
first year.
Wait. Pause for a
Okay.
minute. I need it. Listen, these are minority women. I need you to listen. I'm not only sharing like, but I'm gonna need y'all to heart it up. I need to see your hearts. This like, okay, never mind. Never mind. Amazing. By the
And
way,
so,
you don't hear that with the you don't hear that, and I want to say this right. Minority women, you don't hear that. So I salute you. And you've
thank
told
you.
me this already. I remember us talking about the control and all that. So you've told me all
Yes.
that. But just to hear what could happen when
Right.
you have the foundation of God and you doing what you're supposed. Anyway, go ahead, sugar. I just need to pause for them to hear that one. Hmm.
So with trucking, you can go as big as you want to. I did a training for a guy maybe 2 years ago, and he's at 24 trucks now. He's in Arizona. I did his training over Zoom, and he started out with 4 trucks. He got one of his doctor friends to invest in him. And so he bought a truck, and his doctor friend bought 3 trucks. And now they're at 24 trucks to where he's leased on people to him. So you necessarily don't have to buy a truck of your own, because the all the 11 trucks were not mine. They were leased onto my company. And
Um,
so you how to build is you buy your first truck, trailer, everything else, but the first year you're not going to go a lot of profit. So the next, when you build up the money to get your second truck will pay all your bills, and you can profit your first truck. And then you get a third truck, and that third truck will pay all your bills, and then you can profit your first and second. And that's how you build your company and build your money up. But there are millionaire women in the trucking industry. There's women that drive trucks. It amazes me every time I ride with my husband and I see them. I'm like, yeah, girl power, because women are in the trucking industry.
right.
Yeah.
And I want to say this, even with you, Kim, it's like even to when it comes to taking the lid off of your business, you've already said it. Kind of talk about that, taking the lid off of your business. You're already
Yeah.
doing the grouping and all that, but yeah.
So what Courtney was talking about, like that control, I dealt with a lot of that in the beginning when I was working. And my husband, man, God is so good. He know who to match you with. My husband, because I knew the job, I did not know the business side of the house, and it was a huge difference. I knew how to do counseling, I could therapy all day long, but the business side. And so God, man, my husband has an MBA, and he teaches business and entrepreneurship. And so he was kind of like helping guide me along, but I did not want to kind of relinquish control, Like I needed everything, and the perfectionism part of me. God
Mm-hmm.
had to deal with me with perfectionism.
That's
And
good.
so um it started there, just me kind of letting go of some of the control and learning the business. And then as God spoke and maneuvered and helped me to move, my plate became so full. God said, like, I had to stop taking new clients because I couldn't keep up with all the. I said, if I'm going to be effective in this and give my clients what they need, then I need to cut it off. So I had to stop taking new clients. And then even with that, God said, now is the time. Begin to expand. And I had already, even before then, I knew at some point I wanted to expand. Like the idea was in my head. So I kind of had a thought about it and a plan. But when that hit and I had to kind of shut it down, and so it was a couple of things, the amount of clients and then the financial part. Like
Mm-hmm.
every goal I was just hitting,
Come
continuing
on.
to hit every goal that I set with the finances and the clientele. And so God said, bring somebody on, not just. So here is the reason why God said bring somebody on, because right now I'm solo practice and my business cannot operate without me being present. God said bring somebody on because there are other things within this scope that He wants me to do. So
See, I'm such a preacher, y'all. I'm over here. I'm trying not to preach. Listen, I'm gonna need you to type in the screen power and partnership. There is see the other I had women on before y'all, they kind of did their own thing, and then I had some single ladies on. And oh, I love how God does stuff. You hear girl, I wish I could reach through here and hug both of y'all. Listen, why? Because y'all just said something that is so important to that woman that's out there married and do and I always talk about life, love, marriage, ministry, and money. But when it comes to doing money with your marriage, can we talk about that for a minute? There
mhm.
is power and partnership. And I'm not just, we'll go to the people when you need people, you got to hire people and have people come and work for you and I hate to say hire, but give opportunities to other
Mhm.
people to come and God will open up doors even more when you give opportunity. It's called servitude. Come here. But can
Mhm.
somebody type in power and partnership? Y'all, I'm over here about to shout. Listen, power and partnership, because I want to talk about that when it comes down to marriage, because you, Courtney, you and your husband, y'all do it together. Kim, you and your husband, you just told me y'all do it together. And you realized you needed your husband. Your husband
Mhm.
realized, Courtney, he needed you. And you also had to realize, I need you too, boo. We need each other. Can we talk about that? The kind of the pros and the cons of that part? And then I get to the other part. But I want to talk about that. That's power
So
and partnership.
on my end, like handle the back office part, the talking to the people, the bills, paying, making sure they're paid, and all that other stuff. And he knows the equipment, the on the road. Even though now I ride and drive with him, it's he knows the things that I don't know when it comes to the hands-on part, and I know the business part. So it works.
Got you. So
Yeah.
do you clash?
Of course, we are day and night.
Okay.
And I told you I have control issues, and I thank God for giving me a passive husband because 95% of the time he like whatever, let her be. But then there's that 5% of time where he's like, well, see it from my point of view, and I have to work it out to see it from the way. But we are day and night, so of course, every marriage class, you just have to do what's best for the team.
Got you. I love it. What about you, Kim?
Yeah, I think we're with us, like once we work through this part, because with me, I told you God had to deal with me with the perfectionism part because it needed to be perfect. If I made a video, I did about, I kid you not, 100 videos before we got that one. And my husband was like, look, nah. And so the perfectionism part I had to work through. And then the other part was um like my husband is business. He teaches business. He loves business. So when he walk into a business, like he always point like, what can be better about this? How can these people make more money? And
Mm-hmm.
so that right there, my brain could not handle the capacity, because business when I first started out, I was like, man, that's work. like you putting me back in the workspace. You starting to talk about business. We out eating. And so we had to set some boundaries in there. And so the
Mm,
boundary part was very helpful. And then me working through that perfectionism.
yes. So when you would you say, because that's the key word that I want every woman or anyone that's watching to know, that when it comes to starting a business, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a work scheme. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put in the sweat. You gotta put in the tears. You gotta put in the days when business is not so good. You gotta put in the days when business is so good. So I want to ask you, what are the cons? Like, what are those? It's just hard. Like, I need that woman to know that's in business. Like, I mean, y'all, you and your husband coming together, and I want to say this one: power and partnership. Even when you learn to add people, and I probably said this, but I'm gonna say it again. Even when you learn to use your gift to serve others by allowing them to become a part of your team that can do things that you can't do, but you can pay them to do, the Lord will open up, and hear me, every person under the sound of my voice, He will open up the windows of floodgates to give you opportunities and send more funding to your business that will be life changing to you. Do you guys agree? It would be life changing when you're able to say, okay, Lord, I want to give someone an opportunity to work and be a part of this team, a part of this business, not just your husband, but everybody else. You want to make
Mhm.
sure that you do that. But I want to ask you this: the con, the them days. Can we talk about
I would like to say before we go into the cons, just like with my business, there's probably been about 40 drivers that have came through. And about out of those 40, maybe I have two that are still with me. And I just believe that it is God. Like, who are you connected to? One of the ministers at my church preached Sunday, who are you connected to? And I just believe God like made them stick for a reason. But
it?
maybe 40 drivers have came through, and about maybe 15 of them have their own companies now. And so that is my goal whenever like we have drivers that lease on, we want not for you to just stay under us, but for you to be where I am. Because there's enough in this industry to go around for everyone.
Come here. Come on. I
Yeah.
love it. I
So,
love
but
it. No, no,
the
no.
cons of
Wait.
okay,
I want to
okay.
talk about that because that's good. Yeah. And here's the thing that, because Kim, I know you got something to say. Is it just me? Listen, this is the thing: is that in this particular world of business, when you learn the power of not comparing or not being in competition,
Right,
can allow, like, it don't matter. Let's all grow together. It's like you said, it's enough out here for everybody. At the end
right.
of the day, there's no reason for no one to compete. There's no reason for no one to compare. And I found out this world to me is more not compared than anything else. Like, I mean, competition, because you realize, man, I want to see you grow too. Start your own,
Absolutely.
make a legacy for your own family. I love that.
Yeah.
I,
Absolutely. One of my drivers, he started out, he was working for a guy. And my husband was delivering a load, and they just kind of connected. This is the one that he's still with me. He has his own company. So I basically run his company like I run my company. And so he was working for the guy, and he was probably making about $1,200 going OTR. OTR is over the road where you go all 48 states. And my husband was like, man, that's not right. And come to find out the guy wasn't doing him right. So, he came to be a driver for my husband, and he drove for like at least on my husband maybe 2 years or so. And then I'm like, look, dude, you can do your own thing, like, so now he has 3 trucks under him. He has his company just like mine, and he has 3 trucks leased under him. So it's all about growth.
come on, I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
Yes, it's all about growth. Okay, let's talk about these cons. Them times you want to pull your hair and you want to quit. Do you ever want to quit?
The Yes, the first con is when you work with your spouse. My husband, I had to set boundaries, like Sister Kim said. He does not know how to separate. Because you are my wife, you should do this. So when you work together and you live together and you do everything together, you have to learn how to separate church and state. That is a con because it never turns off. You're going to be wife, you're always wife. Whether you're an operations manager or whatever, you're always wife.
At the end of the
Yes,
day,
that's a con when it comes to working with your spouse. So you have to set boundaries.
I love it.
Yes.
What
The
about,
second
go ahead.
The second con in this industry is you deal with a lot of men. And a lot of men, like I'm a aggressive, assertive woman, and a lot of men can't handle my aggressive assertiveness because it's like I question their manhood because
Oh,
they're not used to women being aggressive. So that when you're dealing with male ego, it can be hard for you at times if you're an aggressive woman. Now, if you're like just whatever they say and go with it, then it won't be as hard for you. But the trucking industry is very male dominated, so that's a little difficult. Also, um, the cons, brokers are greedy. Brokers can either be make your job easier or they can make your job harder, so you have to develop relationships with good brokers. And if you don't, like for instance, a load could be paying $10,000 but the broker tell you, oh, it's only paying 3 and they pocket 7.
oh,
So hopefully God connect you with good people to where, like, I have about 5 brokers that I can say they are really, I've been in a relationship with them like 3 to 5 years, and like, they make my job a lot easier. But those are really the only cons besides the snow. If you can't drive in snow, those are really the only cons for trucking.
gotcha. What about you, Kim? What are the cons?
So, just now, this can go for any business. This one right here, a
Okay.
con would be just like when life happens, especially when you are, like me, being in solo practice. 2020 was one of the hardest years of my life, and so when life happens and you still have to kind of show up for business, like that in there. And this is when you're in private practice. Like if you're working for somebody, you can take off, you take your time off. But if I didn't go to work, I didn't get paid.
Right.
I'm in that job where each hour you're paying for an hour. And so when life happens to you and you don't have the capacity to show up, that can be, you have to figure out, like, it's a plan for that. And so if you don't have that plan, that can most definitely, this is with any business, that
That's
can
good.
most definitely be like a con. And in 2020, like the backup for me, which was really good because that's when I was on part-time when that happened. Like I was part-time in my private practice, full-time working for another agency. So
Mhm.
that helped me out. But it could have went a whole nother way if if I was didn't have another source of income coming in.
Mhm.
And then the other one, I think because I am client based, like my business right now, like clients coming in, getting clients to come in is figuring out how to manage your clients, like with cancellations, like setting things in place, because people now they'll cancel on you so quick.
Yeah,
And so figuring out how to set it up so their last minute cancellations and stuff like that still doesn't affect your income. And
that's
that can be
good.
challenging, not necessarily like a con, but challenging,
Hmm.
very
I like
challenging.
it. Yeah, I think it's very. Here's the thing too, and I would tell anyone that's out there that when it comes down to your business, you got to be able to budget properly. You got to be
Mhm.
able to sit down and say, okay, this is how much I'm going to make this to every day. Like for us, we have to say this is how much we're going to make every day, or you got to be able to have a budget when it comes to that, so that
Mhm.
when there is, I call it, you got winter season, then you got summer season.
Mhm.
That winter season, you got to
Right.
stir up, stir up. And that summer season, you just never know when you're going to have it. And so you always want to make sure that you take out the time to budget properly when it comes to your business. So
Mhm.
I want to ask you this. What is it that you would tell a woman out there that is thinking about starting a business? What would you tell
To go for it. What's the worst could happen? So with this business, this is our, well, it's my first go round, but it's my husband's third go round. So he started in like 2008 and it didn't work out. Or it did it a couple, maybe a year, and it didn't work out. And then 2011 he started and then it didn't. So the third time was a charm. So it's not going to happen overnight. Like, it looks like we just jumped out there overnight and it just took off, but this has been years in the making. And
them?
also, you can't judge your chapter, and I always say it, you can't judge your chapter 2 for someone else's chapter 20. It will discourage you. You could look at somebody that's been in business for 10 years and say, oh man, my business not going right, but you don't know what between that 10 years happened for them to get to that point. So it's your journey, and everybody's journey isn't going to be the same. So you just jump out there, pray about it, and if God says, because the thing is, you have to be in God's will. And I think that's one thing why we are where we are, is because it's God's will. There's days I sit at my computer, I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this. But if I be done with this, how can I get to where God wants me to be, or said I was going, if I quit? So that's what sustains me. But you have to make sure that's something that God wants you to do. Because if it's just something you want to do and He not backing you, it's not gonna work.
This is true.
Yes.
Kim, what would you say to a woman that's thinking about starting a business?
So I have two things that kind of drive me, of course, praying about it and seeking God out. But I always ask myself and say, like, if fear is the only thing that is keeping me from doing something, then I'm going to do it. So if you are fearful, dealing with the fearful things, because, you're going to fail. That's just bottom line. You are going to
Right.
fail at things in this process. And so that fear of failure, if it's there, like I said, if fear is the only reason why you're not doing something, do it. And
Do
the other thing, I think Steve Harvey may have said this ain't my own thing. So if it is guaranteed that it won't happen if you don't do it. So if you're trying
Right.
to do stuff, it is guaranteed if you don't do it, it will not happen for you. So
it. Period.
do it.
Do it. So, what would you say? Last question. I want to ask you this. What would you say to that person that says, you know what, I'm in it, but the struggle is real, and I just need a push to keep going? What would you say to that person?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Like I said, there's days I sit at the computer, I'm like, I'm done. But I know what God promised us. So in order for us to get there, we have to keep going. And if it's not working, you just tweak it to where it does work for you. It's like whenever I teach my class, I say this works for me, but you may do it different that works better for you. So if it's not working for you, tweak it a little bit, and eventually you'll get the formula that you need.
No. What about you, Kim?
For me, because I've been there, not just like I'm done, especially during my hard times, like I didn't want to do it. And so I would say this, and I tell like my clients, people all the time, like, what was it that started you? Like, if you're in there, go back and look at that. What was your vision, your original? Go back and look at that. If things are going and not lining up with their, then what Courtney said, you may have to tweak some things in there. But going back and looking at that vision, look at, why did I start this? What was the purpose of me starting this? And it can give you motivation. And if you are at a point where like you are feeling overwhelmed, go take some time and do some self-care in there, because that is an important part of being like a business owner. When you're overwhelmed and feeling like I want to quit, take a moment and do some self-care, and just get back in there and keep going.
I agree. Pause. I'll call it pause for the cause.
Yeah.
Every business owner need a refreshing moment, a mentoring moment.
Mhm.
And both of these ladies have mentored me in some areas that have helped me out in so many areas. I think Kim, I think we was your first patient. I don't know, but anyway. But she was just to mentor me. Courtney mentored me. It's a business that we have on the shelf that we haven't pulled off yet, but I think it's about time. But they both mentor me. So I would tell anybody, go get mentored, go get coached by somebody, go in that field that is doing better than you and where you're at. But most of all, take a pause for the cause so that you could be restored, you could be rebuilt, and you could be reminded why you started this business in the first place. Here's the thing that I found out, that when it comes to why you started this business, you got to learn quickly. Listen, I got to pause, man, because if I don't pause, I'm not healthy. And when you're not mentally healthy as a business owner, that makes your business stunt and not grow. So I encourage anyone to do that. So I want to ask you guys this real quick. Listen, if you're still watching, I'm gonna need you to put the number one, celebrate these women real quick. But I want to ask them this question really, really quick. I ask everybody this. I'm a purpose pusher, right? So I'm always asking, what's next? Like, what is next for Kim? What's the name of your business? Tell me the name of your business again.
So the name of my business is Love, Peace, and Hope Counseling Agency.
Love, peace, and what is next? I love that. Love,
Yeah.
peace, and hope counseling agency. What is next for Love, peace, and hope counseling agency? What do
So
you
I
see happening next?
you say it again.
What do you see happening next with Love, peace, and hope?
So I kind of alluded to this in earlier about expansion, about the expansion into a group practice where I bring on other therapists, and not just therapists who do the things that I do, but expand in a way where I'm bringing therapists. Like, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I focus on couples and trauma, bringing therapists on that focus on other mental health disorders or mental and wellness, like coaches, different people who do things that I don't do. So to expand the practice, and not just expand the practice for me personally, like my practice will expand, but then those other areas, there's some stuff that I'm looking at doing personally in this field for expansion for myself. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, my heart it up for her. Come on here. I
So
always
stay
love good
tuned.
support. Stay
Yeah, I'll
tuned.
say, yeah, stay tuned for those other, for myself personally in this field to be able to do. So stay tuned for those.
I love it. I love to keep people on their feet. Courtney, what is next
Yes.
for PCR Logistics? Did I say that right?
Yes. And
Okay.
Revoice Trucking is my trucking company. So PCR, um, I'm looking forward to starting a dispatch service to where I can, whenever I teach the class, for those dispatchers to kind of come under my wing and be, dispatch trucks that way. I want to relinquish the trucking part of it. I guess whenever guys say that I can do that, then in full time basically go into just teaching and training and doing the core business.
Uh oh.
My hope is to kind of
Uh
connect.
oh.
Can you hear me?
I think it's. Courtney. I think it's cutting out really, really bad. Okay, there you
Okay,
go.
yeah, it was the service. Can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
so my hope is to connect with like truck driving schools now. They passed a law in February that in order for you to obtain a CDL, you have to go to truck driving school. And so
Okay.
I would like to connect with a few like of the schools to where I can teach the drivers that are trying to start a business how to start and maintain their business. So that's a hope that I hope that comes about.
Awesome. Can y'all heart it up for these ladies? Listen, the reason why I always ask that is because you should always be growing in business. You should always look for, where am I going to be in 5 years, where I'm going to be in 3 years, where I'm going to be in 2 years. So you always want to be moving forward in business. So I celebrate you guys. I celebrate everything you're doing, how you're doing it. But most of all, I want you to really share where they can find you, because may have someone out here that says, okay, I need counseling. Before I even start a business, let me tell you something. You need some counseling, spiritual counseling with a spiritual. She's a spiritual woman of God. I would tell anybody before you start a business, get the healing first. Woo! Let that sizzle in your spirit. Get healed
Right.
properly before you start business because the capacity of people that you deal with in business will make you lose your mind up in here, up in here. So you got to know how to heal first. So, Kim, where can they find you? Can you let us know where they can find you? Give us your information, your website, wherever you are on social media, however. How can they find you?
So they can find me on Facebook, at and they can also find me on YouTube and Instagram. Instagram is LPH Counseling. Um, on Facebook is Kimberly Pruitt, Mental Health and Wellness. I mean, I'm sorry, on YouTube. Did I say Facebook? On YouTube is Kimberly Pruitt, Mental Health and Wellness. And then even you can go to my website and you can find like all the social media links. My website is uh, www at or www.lovepeaceandhope.org. So just type in that and you can find all the social media links, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Yes, that's it. www at Love Peace and Hope.
So go check her out if you're thinking about starting a business or if you're in business. I would tell any business owner, you may want to take a pause for the calls and just kind of go get the that mental break or something just to be able to give you the
Yeah.
rejuvenation that you need to be able to go to the next level. I will encourage anyone to do that. Go ahead, Kim.
Can I say this? Currently, I'll say this. Currently, I'm not accepting new clients. So if you call to get in as a client, I can give you referrals though. So if you are looking for referrals, you could call. But currently, I'm not say accepting new clients. So just wanted to put
That's
that
when you
out
know they
there.
good. Just
Yeah.
be on the wait.
Right.
Just wait. That when you know, Kim, I'm so excited for you for real. I didn't know. Come
Yeah,
on.
I know.
Okay.
Me too.
I didn't know. Yeah, it's been a minute. All right, Courtney, tell them where can they find you? Where all that great stuff. Where can they find you?
So I'm old school. I really don't get on Instagram and all of that, but I have one. So Creed the Dispatcher is my Instagram. On Facebook, Courtney Larkin Reed. Um, I have www.pcrlogistics.net is my website if you would like to book a training class, or my phone number is 281-761-3391. Easy, shoot me a text message. I'm the text message queen.
Give me that number again, 281 what?
761-3391.
Okay. 339. All right, got you. Listen, we went through her class, my husband and I, and another young lady that is on our team, and we went through her class. I'm telling you, full of information. And I know when we are ready to go, and I still got my tab of sugar. It's sitting right here on my desk. So when I'm ready to go, I'm gonna be ready to go. I just got too much on my plate. But she has some great information, great things to share with you. If you are in thinking about going into the trucking field, you definitely want to reach out to her. She has so I really want to call her a business consultant where she coaches you on how to get that up and get it running. And so we went through her class. So I'm telling you, she's legit and has great information. And she takes time over time. Like she's good at what she does. So I want to say thank you guys. Can y'all put the number one if you've enjoyed this far? Put the number one on the screen. These amazing ladies moving out in business, trusting God through the process, believing God for their next, believing God for what's about to happen. I promise you, when you make up in your mind, the sky is the limit to what God has for you. It's just up to you to believe in you. And it's until you learn to believe in you that you can take the natural steps. But why not talk to some women that have been in it, doing it if you're thinking about doing it? These two ladies are in fields that you may want to be in. Reach out to them, talk to them, and ask them. Let me tell you something. Can I say this real quick? would you say the best thing for your business was to ask for help,
Yes. Yes.
advice, even if they didn't want to give it to you?
Yeah.
You finally got somebody around you, hopefully, that gave you the advice that you needed, or God dropped it off into you. I don't know.
Yeah.
My thing was everything that I learned came the hard way. Trial, error, the 2 a.m. phone calls and all of that. But I'm grateful for it because I wouldn't be able to teach the class had I not went through it. So I
Yeah.
teach the class to teach people or to keep them from going what took me years to learn. I teach it to you in hours. And that way you won't make the same mistakes and it will be easier for you. I wish I could have paid for the knowledge.
Yeah.
Come here. But now you give it. See, the Lord know what he be doing. Now
Absolutely.
you give the, so you had to bump your head. But
Right.
I would encourage anyone, if you can find someone out there that does not mind giving the knowledge, but you invest into their knowledge, invest into them, and I promise you it will be life changing to you. And the other stuff you just gonna learn by error. Like you just gonna make some mistakes, you're gonna fail forward, but be
Right.
ready to fail forward. You're gonna make some mistakes. But I wanted these ladies to come on to encourage you, to remind you that man, we just simple women, not simple. Let me stop saying that. We just courageous women, like
Yes.
so many of you. We were courageous and had that moment of thinking, oh my gosh, should I, could I, would I? And baby, we did it. And we're watching the manifestation of God. I'm a kingdom girl, and I'm going to forever say everything you do, when you do it with the heart of God, it'll allow you to not only do it with the heart of God, but you will know you would do it with integrity to where God will send you more because of your integrity. So allow your
Absolutely.
character to be built, but most of all, man, start that business. Take that dream off the shelf. Start moving into the things that God has asked you to move in. And you've been dreaming about it. You've been wanting to do it. So why not? Go ahead and do it and watch God move. Listen, I thank y'all for rocking out with us. I want to do something real quick. I'm gonna do a giveaway. So if you're online right now, if you want, my husband is doing a free. Now, this is something that we charge. Please, and I always say this, please do not put no number on here if you're not ready. Because he don't play. I'm really, really nice, but he doesn't play. And he is early. I'm gonna let you know that out because he's a busy man. So this will happen early. So one thing that we do is business consulting. And we teach people how to start business from the ground up. I can't wait to share with y'all when we get off there. God is doing some amazing things. But anyway, I want you to put the number 5 on the screen. If you want a free consultation with him, it is a 45-minute free consultation. You give him your idea of what you're thinking about doing. You got to be able to start a business. Now, if you're in business and you need it, I don't know, that you can do that too. But I need you to put the number 5. If you are ready to think about your idea, bring your idea to the table. A couple of things you're going to need, an idea of what you're wanting to do, share it with him. But I'm going to give you the next 2 seconds, 3 seconds to put that on the screen. This is free, but it is something that we do charge for, but he wants to do it for free, but you got to schedule it by the end of the day. I would leave this up. So I'm going to give y'all about 2, 3 minutes or 5 minutes. You got to pray about it, but put the number 5 if that's something that you're wanting to do. I'll come back and look. And the first person that put the number 5, we're going to rock out with you and kind of share with you how to go about and start that business. Listen, until next time, join my hubby and I Monday at 6:45 a.m. on my YouTube page, Tanya Harden, where we're going to be sharing with you 10 ways, 10 profitable businesses that you can start that will be very profitable, that will leave a legacy for you and your family. Join us 6:45 a.m. live as I close out this month. And then I'm coming back with some ladies that night at 7:30 or 7 p.m. and they're going to be talking as well to close this thing out. Thank y'all for rocking out. Thank y'all for being a part. Listen, hurry up. Number 5, I'm only give you a couple of minutes. Last time somebody had to pray and then they put the number 5. But yeah, so hurry up and do that. And we're going to do that free consultation with you. I promise you it'll be life changing. Thank y'all for rocking out.
Can I
Listen.
say can I
Yes,
say something real quick?
yes.
Um, so I'm always kind of recruiting and bringing people into the mental health field. If
Mm-hmm.
anybody, like, even though I'm not taking new clients, but if anybody is interested or thinking about going into the mental health field, I'm an open book. So
I
I'm not,
love you.
so you are welcome to reach out and I am an open book.
Awesome. I love it. Listen, heart it up. Thank you, ladies, for showing up. And thank y'all for rocking out with us. Until next time, remember, stay blessed. And all that you do, if you don't remember anything else, remember you are a product of God's grace and mercy when you learn to see yourself through God's eyes and not people. Stay blessed. Bye bye.